And we are live here at the Nourish Your Soul show. I'm trying to imagine what my new intro, which I'm working on, we're going to have a new kind of souped up intro, not just me saying, hi, you're live, but there's actually going to be a great intro and an outro. So I'm working on getting all those things going. But regardless, happy Monday, happy March 30th, last Monday of the month. I don't know where things are going, but they are going fast. And I'm glad you're here. Or whenever you decide to watch this show, I'm very excited about this show tonight. Before we bring on our amazing guest, I just wanted to see, oh, hi, Denise, how everybody is doing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Denise holding down the fort last week. I hope you all enjoyed. There's never a bad show when Denise is here hosting her tappings and giving us wisdom on essential oils. All of that's going to be coming up here soon at our longevity retreat, April 9th through the 12th. So Denise will be there. We'll have a whole series of healers. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. I think that it's been a really busy time taking on the energies of the world, trying to dispel, what's true, what's not, what is affecting your fields in a few days away, tuning into the vibration of food and emotional, mental, spiritual, physical wellness is absolutely what the doctor has ordered for me. And I can't wait to share those days with you, Denise, and with all who are coming to the longevity retreat here in Cape Coral, Florida. So let's talk about what our topic is tonight. I don't want to waste another minute because there is a lot to share tonight. Let me just say that the guest who is here has become a dear friend, and I'm always in awe of the modalities that people gravitate to, and I can't wait to talk with Sunshine about hers. But, a lot of people study religions, a lot of people take on lots of modalities. There are so many ways to tap into soul. And I'm really happy here to tap into soul in this expression that Sunshine brings forward. So I'm going to bring her on camera now and welcome to Nurse Your Soul show. She nourishes mine infinitely. Sunshine Beeson is here. Yay! I need my little clapping machine. I am so glad you're here, Sunshine. Welcome to the show. This is your first time here and will not be the last. So, hello.
Hello, everybody, and Sabate. I am so excited to be with you this evening, my dear, dear, dear.
Let me just say, when you just meet somebody and this is what this is. And, I've traveled through lots of places, lots of things with lots of peoples and studied lots of things. And you kind of embody all these magical things that mean so much to me. And I can't wait for people to know about you. So, Sunshine, you are an iridologist amongst many other things that you do. And I want to talk about before what it is. Let's go back maybe in time where you came across, like, how did this come into your world? And what were you doing? And suddenly you're like, this is for me. I need to stare into eyes and tell them everything they ever wanted to know about their health and wealth and everything else.
Well, one of the things with me is like when I met you, I love instant connections, especially instant heart soul connection. And so when I would meet somebody, I automatically would just gaze into their eyes. And a lot of people are not too comfortable with that, but I want to get right into the soul of a person. And way back in time, I was doing my holistic practice, which is numerous eclectic things that I'll speak about later. And uh, I was introduced to a gentleman, Dr. Bernard Jensen, who is one of the most well known iridologists in the Western world. And I'll go back in time how it started, iridology. But when I first got to do an experience with him in California, where I lived at the time, We had to look at hundreds of irises blown up on a screen and analyze, have an understanding about what is happening inside this person through their eyes. And I was so blown away. I thought, this is the platform. This is the vehicle that puts it all together, because I was doing nutrition consulting and counseling and herbs and supplements and that kind of thing. But this took it to a whole nother level. And iridology, well, iridology, I'll share what it is. It's an analysis tool analyzing the iris, the colored part of your eye, for physical and emotional health. Now, at that time, it was just the physical. And 2 years later, this is in 1982, by the way, and 2 years later, when my daughter, Fawn, was 2 years old, I met another holistic practitioner gentleman, Denny Johnson is his name, and he created a system. At the time it was called RAID, which means light of the ego. He looked at my daughter's eyes and told me everything about me and about her relationship with her father and with me. I'm going, are you doing a psychic reading? He said, no, this is an eye reading. And I said, well, wait, I have studied with Dr. Bernard Jensen. I do iridology. And he says, yes, this is transcending that. So he he does, it's now called behavioral iridology. And there's very few iridologists today that are combining both. They're both a science, both sciences together. And that is my favorite, because the things that you can see in the iris of the emotional aspect, 3 generations back, 3 generations forward, I can see the relationship a person had with their mother, with their father, love relationships, what's happening with that, your partner, masculine, feminine behaviors.
I'm acting so in awe and stunned in a way. And but here I read food. So let's just talk about it for a second. I can read someone's plate and dinner plate and know exactly what's going on with them as well. So that is kind of very unique and different for people to understand that. And of course, that's what I'm always doing, is helping them explain. And it's funny, I've been calling it iridology. Of course, it's eye, right? For the
Yes,
eye. It's
yes,
iridology. Well, first,
yep.
thank you for correcting me on
It's
that.
not the ear, not iridology, but iris, right?
It absolutely is. So when you did, so when there's certifications that go on or whatever it is that you study, you said you looked at a lot of irises. When you did your first reading, did it just open up like, oh my God, this is it for me? Like you got so much accuracy. Like tell me what that was like, if you can remember that moment.
Well, because we had to read each other's eyes in this training, in the study, and I've studied with several people after that from all over Europe, because it's advanced so much. It's always advancing. But those first times, I dreamt. All I saw were eyes. I dreamt about eyes, and what I had to be careful of is that this is a non invasive kind of practice, right? But you are intimately seeing the depth. I mean, people say your eyes are the windows of the soul. I say your eyes are the windows of your heart and your soul.
Here, let
Because
me make this easy for everyone. So, just so who's watching, this show is for entertainment purposes only, by the way. We don't diagnose
that's
or
right.
do anything of the sort. Seek your medical doctor for all those things. We just bring up things that we have traveled along in our journey of experience to be very wonderfully beneficial for our souls. How's that?
Yes,
Moving on.
thank you. Yeah, we don't diagnose the eyes, we analyze or assess. Yeah, so it is just vast amounts of information. And what I had to be careful of is every person I saw, because I already looked deeply into people's eyes, I had to be careful not to just jump in and tell them everything that's going on. So I had to learn about invitation. be
Yeah.
invited.
Well, that is true. I know when I do a lot of readings, people say, "Can you check on so and so for me?" Or "What do you think he's thinking right now?" Or, they
Yeah.
always want me to scan somebody else or, pull a
Yes.
card for them. And I say that, that there is an allowance and there is a permission and there
Yeah.
has to be some integrity when we're tapping into people's soul expressions. So
That's
I
right.
understand that. But let's just talk about what happened. So I met you at a business retreat, and you had this amazing camera that I thought was like bigger than you. It was like I was like, wow, she means business with that camera. And then you got really up close, and then we got together online, and we're in different states, although you'll
Yeah.
be here. And you said uh, then we did like a reading, right? Like a what would you call it? Like a consult.
Yes. I call
And
it a
it was
consult. Hmm.
yeah, and it was so deeply intimate and accurate and touched on parts of me that I had not have not shared per se with many people, if at all. And immediately was like, okay, sunshine's the real deal, even though I knew that. But I was really surprised that the eyes can be seen that way. And so, do you feel that the majority of the time, are you seeing it for what's maybe happening in the body physically? Or I know you now mentioned emotionally, but I feel like you brought in a lot of spiritual aspects that kind of well rounded because I continued working with you because there were I felt so seen and so acknowledged and so received that wherever we were going, I know it was going to be a good journey.
Well, a lot of times people are just curious about it because so many people don't. It's more prevalent in Europe and the West Coast, where I came from. I'm in the East Coast now, and people are curious about it. But a lot of people will come because they've tried so many different modalities, and they've maybe hit a plateau, or they've had a lot of lab work, and they are frustrated because the doctor's saying they're fine. And the interesting thing, like, I'm going to give you for instance, um, the left eye pertains to the organs on the left side of the body and mother's ancestry genealogy. Okay. Right eye pertains to the organs on the right side and relates to father. These are foundational platforms where we stem from and get these patterned imprints that become part of our behavior or personality. And so we have a left and right thyroid. Okay, thyroid's on left and right side. And here's what happens a lot of the time. Somebody will say, well, I just got lab work done, and they're saying that my thyroid is fine. But they've got the symptoms. So I will see that maybe their left eye might show balance, but the right eye is showing hypoactivity. And that will cancel out in a blood test, actually. So, and then what I'm looking at, I'm not just looking at the physical, because 90% of the time there is an emotional link connected to that physical organ. So the iris can show where are those emotions stuck or blocked in your physiology. It's amazing. And I can also see which chakras are blocked also through the eyes. So it goes way out there vast.
Well, that is pretty vast and amazing. And what I love about what you do is that you present it. This is how I see it. You present what you see in somebody's eyes, but you don't just say, "Oh, here's what's happening," or "Here's what I'm seeing."
Right.
You also provide a solution, or you provide a pathway to then course correct, heal, release, clear.
That's
And
right.
that is quite special because I say this all the time is that when you're now uncovering a wound, a dis-ease, something, and then where does someone go with it? And what I like is that
Yes.
you have other aspects. So maybe talk about what you do as a result of seeing into their eyes and the
Yes.
windows to their soul. What happens next? that's an important piece to
It is,
consider.
it is certainly. And I say I'm a one-stop shop because
Yeah,
we're going to look at, okay, what is the priority? What is needed right now? And it could be nutritional support and what kind of foods are good for you. I don't go with one way. I'm trained in herbology, Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, Western uh, Western type foods, and we because our systems are so imbalanced today, and what we've got going on with the chemicals. So I don't go with one system. So I'm going to look at what kind of foods are going to be important for you right now. I can see what type of enzymes do you need for your digestive system. If you're blood O or you're A or things like that. And what kind of supplements? Most people, I mean, we can see stress and depression in the eyes. Uh, I'm trying not to name too many things, but I like to say there's imbalances, right? I don't like to really name what the offset is. So I deal with uh, aromatherapy, Bach flower essences. Those are all to modulate, I'd say, and help. But the real thing for me, as I think you know, Lainey, is it's going to be doing the subconscious work, getting under and rewiring of what is happening. So some people are very, very spiritual and they forget about their body, or they're really body oriented and they are not spiritual, or the emotions are so stuck and so blocked. And so there's different types. We can see the different types of personalities in the eyes too. So I have a system called Hypno Core Release, and it is a combination of all the therapies of counseling, somatic, hypnotherapy, inner child work. And it's really getting to the very, very root core cause of what is happening with these imbalances, physiology or psychologically. And when that happens, I say it's like a ripple effect. It's kind of like if you can imagine a pond and you're going to just dive down into the center of that pond or down to the bottom, and you can't see what is at the bottom. That's the emotional body underneath. And when we access those deeper connected parts of you that they're kind of stuck, they're hidden, they're in a shadow, and we bring light to those, recalibrate those parts that have been fragmented, then there is an amazing thing that starts to happen. It's a ripple effect that goes out. So we're either in response or we are in reaction, and we're bringing in more of the responses and freedom and peace and self-worth, self-esteem. Because most people today, third chakra is in dire need.
yeah. I think it's interesting. I was just speaking to a girlfriend, and she was saying, I have a real hard time um, receiving. And I've, well, I would just say, both your sacral and your solar are always the two, that divine masculine, that divine feminine, that power struggle. And
Yes.
I think right now there's a lot going on. And I think we're taking a little bit of a big assault, just what's happening in the world today. There's just,
Yeah.
it's hard to be on social media. It's hard to have conversations with people. It's just feels like it's a very fragile time.
It is a fragile time. And especially for people that are empaths out
Impasse.
there. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So
Yeah.
they have their auric field is leaky, right? It's got leaks, tears, and holes, and they're getting flooded with all of this energy, known and unknown, that seeps in and starts to create so much chaos. So it's so important that we not only be clean inside, but we've got to cleanse our auric field, the 7 layers of this, right? And so I teach people how to do that too.
When you take a picture of the eye in that moment, how often do they need to take another picture to see the shifts? Like, how does that
Yeah,
work?
yeah, that's a good question. People always ask, um, will the iris change? And the thing is, you come into the world with a specific structure. Structure is different than color, and the structure doesn't change. That's almost like your
DNA?
dharma. Your what is
Well,
it? What?
I was going to say, is it like your DNA? You have certain
Yeah.
sort of
So your
strands,
DNA,
but
yep, it's like your DNA. And so we can see what kind of precautions to take physically and emotionally on that level. Now, it's easier to see a blue eye change color. Like it'll change within 3 months to a year or longer. It depends on how diligent you are with your diet. Like the easiest thing to see change is in a blue eye or a mixed iris. There's only two eye colors, blue, brown. That's it. And then anything else like hazel or mixed is a combination of a parent. Or if there's a yellowy hue, it's really pretty, but the yellowish hue around the pupil, which is your digestive system, that means generally it's a lack of an enzyme called HCl, hydrochloric acid, that our body's stomach naturally produces. When you start to take care of eating better, watching your food combining, and take that enzyme, the yellow, the gold goes away. We want to see the iris color the same color as there's a demarcation from your pupil out about a third of the way out of the iris, and inside it should be the same color as your true iris color.
wow. People always say I have cat eyes, and so I'm very curious because there's like squiggles and stuff, but not. I don't want to be analyzed though on here.
Right.
I did a show one time, Sunshine, and it was a sleep analyst,
Oh,
a dream analyst, a dream analyst.
okay. Yeah.
And I had said, I had a dream about a chicken. I gave birth to a chicken, or I don't know. I just said it, what the dream was. And I got the full analysis on this show. And I was like, I gotta remember, like, not to always respond because I don't need to have everyone, learning about every single thing
Yes. Right.
but I'll never forget that. And then somebody, yeah. So the things I've seen on these shows has been kind of crazy. So, in the time that we have left, I wanted to, first off, is there anything else you wanted to share? Do you have anything coming up, or do you have any presentations? I know you'll be here in May. You'll be in Fort Myers in May. You'll be
Yep.
speaking at Spirit Fest, which is exciting, May 30th and 31st. Is there anything
Yes.
before then? Are you going to be at any shows anywhere else that you might want to let people know?
In Massachusetts, I will be. I have in Danvers, Massachusetts. Gosh, I don't have the dates in front of me. I will be at an expo there. I will be in Bristol, Connecticut at another expo, and that's in April as well. I have my Divine Feminine Sacred Sexuality workshop coming up April 25th, and that's filled up. So that's nice.
It is nice. Do you so should they go to your website to learn about how to do a session with you, or what's the best
Mhm.
way they can connect?
Yes. So website, it is what is Iridology? IRIDOLOGY.com. What is iridology.com?
Does anybody have questions that are here? What is irodology?
Iridology.
Iridolo.
IRIDOLOGY. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Iridology.
Okay, I think I have it on there now. I put it in there. What is iridology.com? Yeah, I have it now on all the platforms so they can see you.
Great.
Okay, so now we're going to move over to my modality, which is seeing a lot of those things through food, which I believe has been a really interesting divine expression as well. I think, wow, between diet and eyes, we can really talk about one-step shopping between all of us. We can get them all fixed. You look at their eyes, and then I'll help them, look what's on their plate. Can I
Yes.
pull a card for you, or any thoughts? Because I know you've become a fan of the Food Healing Oracle deck, which
My
always
God.
brings my heart
I just
great
have to
love.
say that is the best. I get so excited with this card deck. My husband Eric, we do a tarot once a month, and I have everybody do your cards as well
Oh
because I
my
love
gosh,
them.
amazing! Aw.
They are
Well,
amazing.
thank you. Hey, for those of you who are watching this between now and 2 days from now, no fooling, April's Fools, which is this Wednesday, I'm going to be giving a presentation. I usually give this presentation in person at Spirit Fest and other places, and I give people the whole backstory of why this deck works, what the science is, and then what kind of the spiritual gifts that come with it as well. So understanding intuitive food therapy, why our gut matters, not only how to trust our gut and how to, protect our gut eating it, but to truly understand what it means when we crave something, whether it be a color, right? And I relate it to chakras and other things too. But anyways, it's from 7 to 8 p.m. free to attend. It's a Zoom presentation. It'll blow your mind and it gives you the whole backstory on how these decks came into being. So I encourage you, April Fools, to go, no joke. And you can look on it. You can go to my Facebook page or anywhere, or just get in touch with me, siftofficial.com. So I pulled the card Jicama, neutrality. And I
Interesting.
just kind of asked what was in your highest good. And I got jicama. Do you like jicama?
I love jicama.
I love jicama too. It is one of my favorite foods, actually. Trader Joe's has a jicama. Instead of using carbs, they have wraps, and they're made out of jicama, so they're like jicama wraps. So it's like
Really?
if you
I
want to just
didn't
do
know that.
protein
Oh
vegetables,
my
or
gosh.
yeah, jicama wraps. They're like little
Ah,
tortillas made out of jicama.
excellent.
But what comes to mind for you when you see that? Because a lot of times people go straight to the word neutrality. Sometimes people might go to the food. Other times they might go to the picture. Is there something about that picture? It just kind of reminds me of you. But
It does.
yeah,
What it feels like, I normally wouldn't like the word neutral, because it would feel bland to me. But
yeah,
right now, what it feels like is like, ooh,
yeah.
chill, like that.
It almost
Neutral.
means to be unaffected by the outcome and to
Ooh,
come back to
I like
staying
that.
in a state of neutrality without emotionally being attached.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
yeah.
That's perfect.
I'll tell you a backstory, which was really interesting. I had felt intuitively when I was making this card to, because it's such a neutral, right? Bland taste in a way.
Taste, yes.
It's sort of benign, but I love
Yep.
it. Um, but when I went, and so I'm like, oh, jicama is going to be the neutrality card, because neutrality is so important. So we can't that whole detachment and is great, especially when you're dealing with people who have, like, say, codependencies or any of those things. It's like really learning to be neutral. Like, it's not you, and don't let other people gaslight you. Anyways, I can go down that rabbit hole. But
Yeah.
then I went to go do the studying of jicama, and the first thing I read in doing the research, jicama must be grown in neutral pH soil.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Isn't that perfect?
Wow.
But does that resonate for you? Like, just a little key reminder? Yeah,
Absolutely.
like when in doubt.
Perfect.
Yeah, even today I said, God, today seemed a little off for me in a way. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to remain neutral and open. And maybe today was a quiet day and tomorrow might feel like my normal Monday. But in any case, I take this for me too. Neutrality is really important. But anyways, I got that. It's important for you.
It's excellent.
Neutral.
Your
Yeah.
cards always are right on for me. I mean, seriously, it's like amazing. I love it.
And for other
Thank
people
you.
too. So, Sunshine, thank you for being here. I think that these interviews go quick. We had a
Yeah,
wonderful 30 minutes. And
so
for
fun.
those of you who would like to have a session, by the way, just before we complete, can you do this online? They don't need to be in person to take your picture. Explain that to them.
Well, what I do, I mean, there's people that I haven't met all across the United States. And what I have them do is take, because the phones are so great with the cameras now, I have them take a picture of both one eye, each eye separately, and together open your eyes wide, wide, wide. And then you email me the picture and I see if the resolution is good enough. And then we could do an online session. Yep.
Okay,
Takes
very
about an
good.
hour to do the
It's about
session.
an hour. Okay,
Mhm.
great. And if you are here in May, please come to either the Women's Success Summit on May 28th. You'll be there. And then 2 days later, you'll be at Fort Myers Spirit Fest. So,
Yes.
and you'll be presenting. What is the name of your presentation that you'll be offering?
Oh God, I have so many names for these presentations.
What is
Um,
iridology? No, just kidding.
what is the inner workings of the eyes reveal? I mean, what do the eyes reveal of the inner workings of your soul? Something
Something
of
like
that
that. Yeah,
nature.
whatever
Yeah.
it was great. All right, stay with me. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please share
Thank
this for
you.
anyone you feel would want to know what iridology is to help with their life, their soul, their purpose. All right, thanks for being here on Nourish Your Soul. Stay well.
Thank you, honey.